and welcome to PrepEve, where we revolutionize how you prepare for IELTS. Today we'll be dealing with the topic which is the most important one when it comes to your introduction in your essays, which is paraphrasing. The first step while you address your essay question is to read the question, underline the keywords, understand the meaning of the question, and then finally recreate or rewrite what the question says into your own words and write it down in the introduction. So this is the first step that you have to do. Firstly, you have to go through the question, look for the keywords in the question, underline them, understand the essence of the question, the meaning of the question, absorb what the question is saying. Once you do that, once you absorb the contents, what the question actually is asking you to do, after that give yourself a minute and start paraphrasing your question. What you have to do is basically you have to understand the question and then rewrite it by changing the vocabulary, phrases or structures in your own words. That's about it. That is what paraphrasing means. It is no rocket science. You understand the question and write down the question in your own words without tampering or without changing the meaning of the question. Yes, that is it. There are 4 ways of paraphrasing your question. The first one is by using synonyms to change the vocabulary or the words that are being used in your question. So synonyms are my personal favorite. These are easiest to do. Number 2 is change word form. You can change the formation of the word. We'll look at it with an example later on. Then the third one is to change the word order. So the order of the words which are given in the question can be reversed or can be changed to make the same sense. The sense shouldn't change, the meaning of the question shouldn't change, but you can otherwise change the order of the words by changing the question from active to passive. So if the question is given in active, then you can change it into passive voice, right? So these are the 4 ways in which we can paraphrase our questions. So let's take one example each and understand it. So this is your question. First of all, what you have to do is underline the keywords. So that's the step 1. This is also the strategy of understanding the question. So we are not only dealing with paraphrasing, but how can you understand the question. So read the question 2 or 3 times and you will definitely understand the keywords, or you'll be able to locate the keywords. So once that is done, then you can look for the synonyms for those keywords especially. You can look for the synonyms for other words as well, but definitely you should change these keywords because these are the main words or the keywords of the question. So according to me, these are the keywords, the ones that are underlined. Now let's think about the synonyms of these words so that the meaning remains the same. So the strategy is not to change the meaning. There are some synonyms that if you use them, they might be similar to the main word but might not be exactly the same and might change the meaning or the context of the sentence. So you have to be very careful in such cases. So government are prohibiting. So what is the synonym of prohibiting? Forbidding, restricting, you can use any of the 2 words. There's another word called stopping. So that's like the literal translation of prohibiting, which according to me is not a very good word, even though it's a synonym, but it's not a good word to be used here. I'll tell you why. Government are stopping the underage children. Stopping literally means that you're stopping somebody from not entering an area. Okay, so they're not stopping anybody, they're passing a law or they're enforcing a law which says that you are not allowed to work. So forbidding or restricting are good synonyms that can be used instead of prohibiting. Okay, so the next one is underage children. So underage children, what do you mean by underage children? What is the other word that can be written here? Underage children, basically you're trying to say the children who are supposed to be going to school and getting educated. So for underage, you can write the word minor or minors depending upon the question or the statement. The next word that we have is full-time jobs. So what can you write here instead of full-time jobs? So according to me, I'll substitute full-time with regular. Full-time basically means regular, or and jobs can be changed into employment. Or you can also write to work, but I think employment would leave a better impression on the examiner. So I'd write employment. So let's kind of read it now. Government are prohibiting, so this is supposed to be governments. Governments are prohibiting or restricting the minors from getting regular employment in certain countries. So when I write getting, it does not make much sense here. What if I change this to seeking? Now this will make much more sense, and I guess it would convey the same meaning. So let's have a look at it. Governments are forbidding the minors from seeking regular employment in certain countries. I guess it conveys the same meaning, but it enriches it, or maybe with the use of synonyms we have paraphrased it and we were able to write our introduction, or at least the first part of the introduction. So governments are forbidding the minors from getting or seeking regular employment in certain countries. This is how you can utilize your synonyms to change it. In our one-to-one personalized guidance course, which is conducted over Skype or other video conferencing platforms, this is what we do. We basically prompt our students to find out the appropriate synonyms for each of the words after identifying the keywords. So this is the same strategy that we follow in our personalized course. We would ask them to understand the question, tell me the meaning and the keywords, and once that is done, you need to identify the correct synonyms or the appropriate synonyms that can be used, which would not change the meaning and which would fit the context in an accurate manner. So this is the process, and this is how we go about in our personalized course as well. So I hope you understood, you had an idea of how we can paraphrase a particular question using synonyms. There are some extra things that you can do which are not really necessary. For example, you can change the word governments with central authorities and countries with nations. So yet again, these are synonyms, you can change them according to your wish, but the major keywords were these, and if you change them, that's like the best thing to be done, and that would really show in your band score. So let's move on to the next part. The second method of paraphrasing is by changing the word order. It basically means that you change the sequence of the word. So the words that are given in your question, you change the sequence and you write your paraphrased version. So in this case, what we can do is we can pick these last three words in certain countries and start our paraphrased version from them. So we can paraphrase it in this manner. In certain countries, governments are prohibiting the underage children from getting full-time jobs. Yes, this is another way of doing it, but my personal suggestion is always to add some synonyms. So while you're doing it, yes, you can indeed start it from in certain countries, the governments are restricting the minors from getting full-time jobs or getting regular jobs, right? So it should be a mix and match of changing the word order along with using some or the other synonyms. But here, if I just have to explain you how you can change the word order to paraphrase, this is how you can do that. You have to start from these words and basically place them before government. So what is your final sentence? It becomes, in certain countries, comma, governments are prohibiting the underage children from getting full-time jobs. However, I hope it's clear that you have to use synonyms also along with this strategy. The next two ways of paraphrasing would be discussed in the next lecture or the next video. And for now, I will be giving you a question. You have to paraphrase it in your own words and write it down in the comment section. I will be personally checking each one of them and telling you whether it's right or wrong and how you can make it better. So stay tuned, look at that question and then please comment in the comment section below. If you found this video beneficial, please press the bell icon and also the thumbs up button, and stay tuned, subscribe to our channel.